here today when I say that no way near enough has been done to address the harms in family court in the UK and around the world. If a victim of abuse has children, which around about 80% do, the message from the justice system is clear. They can never walk away because the perpetrator has rights that will be prioritised above theirs. They cannot just leave as they are advised to in public messaging, and they can't seek to limit a perpetrator because that's framed as an act of alienation, because there is a presumption that regular contact will be achieved. And very often the family court won't deviate from the outcome that extensive contact, like shared care arrangements for children, will be ordered, which leaves families at the mercy of perpetrators post-separation abuse, which they will perpetrate, and they do it week in, week out. Adult and child victims live in fear of the perpetrator, but also in fear of the justice system, because the perpetrator is given a green light to continue the behaviour. And the victims will risk losing their children in family court for taking protective actions to stop it. So there really is nowhere to turn for victims who are stuck in this predicament. And the system is hostile to mothers in particular, who say that they are worried about the impact of contact with an abuser, because any deviation from this presumption of contact that we have in law here in the UK, it means that they are treated as an abuser themselves. And paradoxically, we then see safe parents losing contact with their children entirely. Yet contact with an unsafe parent is prioritised, and it's usually on the grounds of alienation. And there is a trend in the system here where perpetrators will push for an expert witness who will often be using pseudoscientific theories which have been proven to be unsafe, unscientific, and unreliable in family court cases. And this is a travesty that I'm seeing in cases on a daily basis. Pro-alienation practitioners often position a mother's normal attachment with her children as something pathological and dangerous. And they'll frame normal mothering as abusive. They frame a mother's rightful anxiety about contact with someone who has hurt them and their children as more concerning than the abuse that brought the family to the court in the first place. And many of these experts who work within private family law are not regulated. Some of them aren't even qualified, yet they are still able to work in this setting. And I've seen many cases where an expert has misled the court about being able to assess children when they are not qualified, regulated, or even licensed to do so. And this was exposed in a major investigation by a national newspaper, The Observer, here in the UK last year, but not much since then has changed. They frequently mislead the court by using junk science like parental alienation theory. And this theory is so dangerous to victims of abuse. Currently, its use is the most pressing risk to victims because when coupled with the pro-contact culture in the court, it's a perfect storm for a victim in court because it wholly incapacitates them from ever stopping the abuse and puts their children at even greater risk. And they stand no chance of protecting their children because those who are found to be unwilling to achieve regular contact with the perpetrator will often lose their children to the perpetrator.